Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. Maybe one day I'll get a better opening than that. But you join us for some more C-verse action. I actually booked a couple of shows in a row, getting into a wee bit of momentum. But we're here with TCW Presents Total Wrestling. This is another show on the road to the next pay-per-view. We're just going to continue to build up characters and hopefully get a good pay-per-view down the line. As I say, the more and more we book, the more familiarised we are with the roster, and hopefully the C-verse within time as well. So we're actually at a good position. TCW seems to be a company that's quite close to growth, back up to a higher level. And show rating wise, I'd say we've done okay with that last show getting an 80. And attendances, I'd say at a pretty healthy level as well. So it's one thing to do well last week. It's now an opportunity to try and replicate that. So again, broadcasting on Ace. Oh, we look here. I was going to jump in it, but I just want to go through. Expect to get 8,802, so that might drop a little bit. What I'm interested to see, and I'll need to try it myself, is using the pre-booking for not just the TV show, but also the pay-per-views as well, just to see how much of a gain that does get us, because apparently it is quite a good amount of gain. So I might look to utilise that. Right, I want to double check this because it said we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I wanted to just be, in fact I'm just going to keep it safe. In fact, let's just narrow it down a little bit. 8,000, 7,000. Let's stick with the Friedman building just to be safe there in terms of attendance, because I say the Tulsa, I don't know how much that could give us. I'd rather just know these two are going to be fined and they're going to be minimal loss. But yeah, there's your show. 13 segments. I'm learning, I'm booking a lot of segments. But let's see how the show goes down. So a start of the show was with your TCW champion, and that is of course Aaron Andrews. He was assaulted last week, we all know, by Chord. And yeah, basically they start at it again. He's just basically wanting revenge on Chord for his actions. Jay comes down and interrupts him. A bit of a back and forth on the microphone, and then they start brawling. Usual Maxi opening segment. We get the staff to break it up, and they obviously pull it apart, clearly setting up for what's going to be your main event of the next pay-per-view. The next in line storyline advances for this segment. It gained a bit of heat, it got the show off to a strong start, it got the crowd hot. That's what we want, a hot crowd to start with, and it's an 83 rating. Now one thing I'll say is, it's obviously the difference of booking different generations. I'm booking this with a 2020 mindset, but in 1983, did you ever really have Hulk Hogan opening the show with a promo? You didn't, so these shows are starting a wee bit slower and having to gain heat over time. So let's try to get into that philosophy, just booking with the time zone, or timeline, in mind. After this, we interval break, and we come back to see backstage that Laura Catherine Huggins is having an interview, and she's hyping an upcoming match between her client, Freddie Huggins, and Dean Daniels. So obviously Huggins was on a bit of a run of momentum. Obviously had a match against Aaron Andrews, and yeah, he's just really building up this match with Dean Daniels at 52, and the performance of Laura Catherine Huggins was good. I keep going to say Higgins, which is annoying, but a 52 there. Match itself was good. A 60 is not too bad there. As you expect, Freddie Huggins picks up the win over Dean Daniels, regaining a lot of momentum in 701 with Huggins' kiss. So a nice and simple match there. I just look there, a few negatives, just the inconsistency of Huggins, the declining physical ability of Dean Daniels, and the penalty for being unable to use high risk manoeuvres. Next up, we had had great heat and decent wrestling. He's been on a bit of a poor run of form recently, but Wolf Hawkins picks himself back up with a win over dazzling Dave Diamond in 8:56 with Philman rising. A 72, pretty good for this stage in the card. Probably maybe should have put it higher in the card, but Hawkins gets a 72, Dave with a 56, and this has got the crowd hotter, so we're actually doing not too bad. Let's see if we can keep the audience entertained. After the matchup, Wolf Hawkins decides to beat down dazzling Dave Diamond, but it's Sammy Batch who comes down to chase Hawkins off, and that begins the start of the feud between Batch and Hawkins. Completely as a booking, the two storylines from the top two feuds, switching them around. But it started the feud. Sammy Batch and Wolf Hawkins came across well in this, which is good, but there was a lack of anything interesting happening, which did put it down to 56. Of course, that will include the overness of dazzling Dave Diamond. Next up, we had a decent reaction, unfortunately. reaction from the crowd. But terrible wrestling with Elliot Thomas defeat Roderick Remis in 9:46 with Quiet Down. Unfortunately, just a 42 rating here, a bruised kidney for Elliot Thomas, so that's good. We're getting a few injuries. I felt that was maybe lacking a bit in TEW2020. I didn't have really many injuries with that big WWE save, so that could be down to me not making them big enough, so I'll look to amend that. But a 36 for Elliot, a 44 for Roderick, and a wee injury for Elliot. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. Cheers, Joe Bryant. And Remis gets some heat, so we'll obviously check after the show if Thomas is going to be out for an extended period. Next up, there was a hype video for Chris Flynn, of course, back from injury, so he'll be competing tonight. I got a 44, and his matchup was against Avalanche Takano, back fully fit now from injury. It was a poor matchup that saw Chris Flynn defeat Avalanche Takano in 7:15 with a Flynn lock, so a 53 is not too bad. Avalanche is slowly getting over in the American audience, of course. He's technically really good, but he's just obviously not over. So putting him in this kind of role is obviously exposing him to an American audience, but at the same time he's really helping put people over. So a good win for Chris Flynn in this matchup. Next up, we had tag team action, and it was about that had good heat and decent wrestling as the Behemoths defeated Benny and the Fox in 9:37 when Killer Shark defeated Benny Benson with a big bite. A 58 here as the Behemoths continue their run of dominance within the TCW tag team division. But you can see there, everyone's pretty even in performance. Benny Benson was off his game. But yeah, just again, putting heels over, which I seem to be doing a bit too much in this save. As you'll probably notice, because the next matchup saw Greg Gage defeat Ed Stone in 13:25 by pinfall, giving Greg Gage number 13 of his title defences of the TV title. A solid 74 rating here was pretty good, I was happy with that. Ed Stone with 56, Gage with a 73, but again just building his momentum before bigger things ahead for Greg Gage. And next up, basically just him cutting a promo. He says he knows Human Arsenal is after him. Anytime, any place, my man, I'll take you on, and I'll show you're just a loser like the rest of the people within this TCW roster. So it continued the storyline, gained a bit of heat, and a very solid 71 rating there. Announcing in the colour commentary helped the segment as well, which is good to see. And our main event was about that had fantastic heat and good wrestling as we had Aaron Andrews defeat Joshua Taylor in 18:58 with a flying body press. A 79 is good there. Andrews 79, Joshua 63. Taylor benefited from having a hot new move. It's one thing I want to do in this year's TW. Last year I just basically abused my main eventers to the stage where it was always rotating storylines and making sure it was tag matches, 6-mans, instead of just going, why not just build everybody up really high and have average TV main events, so like 70s and 80s, but then when these two guys collide at the pay-per-view, it's going to be a blowout of the proportions, so it's going to blow out the water. So it's one thing I'm going to try and change my booking style, because a lot of my Raws and SmackDowns were just, here's Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins against two heels, and then another heel inserted into the match the following week. The amount of times Baron Corbin took pinfalls, it was an element of realism. But it's one thing I want to change my booking style, but again, every booking style will obviously adjust to who we're obviously in charge of, and again, making sure we get the best pay-per-view as possible. And I finished the show, and Chord comes down, he beats up Aaron Andrews, continuing to get the advantage over the fallen champion. Both guys come across well, but a lack of anything interesting happening in the segment was a problem again. I need to get learning to make stuff interesting in these angles. These just ain't quite cutting it. But a 61, and we finished the show overall with a 77. It's still a positive show there, so the angle didn't matter so much, but the two main matches did, which is good, and that show will increase our popularity in 10 regions. So pretty okay. We've got a couple of matches set up for the pay-per-view coming up at the end of the month, and I'm slowly but surely getting used to who's going to be main eventers, who's effectively jobbing out here. It's going to be any other save that's not WWE or AEW. It's taking time just learning the roster, learning what people do. It's the same with WWF save. I need to learn obviously about the stars I'm not too familiar with, but yeah, overall pretty happy and pretty positive with that result. We'll jump into the home screen and see what news greets is there. But good to see we're gaining pop in regions. I say it's not really something I'm too concerned about in this year's TW, unless it's a save where we've got an owner goal, but most I think I will be owner, just so we've got the free freedom to kind of do what we want. TCW presents Total Wrestling, really struck gold. It's good to see. And Elliot Thomas, if I can remember where this is he a medical? 17 days, and he can work through it. That's good. Not long, and this will all be changed, and it's going to look incredible, and we'll be able to navigate where things are. The subheadings that are going to pop up will really help it, but I do still get a wee bit confused. Drug testing was 3,000, 2.02, which was 1.5 million viewers, and then that's just telling us about the various house shows which are run on a Wednesday after TV, a Sunday, and a Monday. So I basically give them working Sunday, Monday, Tuesday's television, taper on the Wednesday, off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Pretty similar to WWE, if I'm being honest. So that's it. The next show, as I say, is on our television taping, 6 days. And here we go, it's TCW, The What Has Settled the Score, in 25 days. That will be our pay-per-view. But overall, yeah, it's going okay. Slowly but surely getting there. And yeah, let me know what you think of the series, guys, if you're quite happy with some TCW. Are you excited? Are you hyped? Are you raring to go? Let me know how you feel about the impending, we'll call it impending, TEW2020 full release, whatever that may be. And yeah, I promise, as soon as that's live, my head is going down and we will be absolutely hammering out all Elite Wrestling episodes, and we'll pop on the old Twitch as well for some WWE action. As I say, there's a lot changing on a daily basis, so there might be a few adjustments to any mods that I do get, because Sammy's no longer IC champion, and obviously Becky's off to be a mother, so that's, yeah, that's a span on the works in terms of booking plans, that's for sure. But anyway, just watching, much appreciated. As the usual places, check out Grey Dog Software forums, Fantasy Booker subreddit, and twdb.com for all your mods, graphics, etc. you need, and of course some written content as well. Don't forget the written bookers, man, because some of their stuff is good. I need to jump on to Grey Dog because I need to post about our second WWF show from the other day there. But most important, guys, stay safe, and yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.